This is an Infiniti G37 2008, and it has a bad front wheel bearing. I want to show you how you can tell and what a bad wheel bearing sounds like. If you grab the wheel with both hands and shake it, you hear that noise? I can shake this tire. With two hands it's easier, but you just grab the tire, give it a good shake, and if you hear this play, I can feel the play in the tire. The other side won't do that at all, but it's making that side do it. So you can walk around this car and shake all four wheels, and only that one has a little bit of play in it. And the sound that it makes is just like driving over rough pavement. That winding sound kind of sounds like a warning strip. Sorry, but I'm not going to drive the car and record the sound just for the sake of a video. Something could be severely damaged if it fails during that. So basically the best way to describe the noise that a failing wheel bearing makes, it sounds just like driving over rough pavement. Or have you ever drove over a warning strip on the road? Or a stretch of highway that just makes that loud wow 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 kind of noise? Sound like a complete idiot here, but it just sounds like rough pavement. And if you steer the car, typically you'll get a different noise depending on which way you're steering. And steering definitely affects the noise, so that's how you know it's a bearing. Okay, pointer number one. You're going to want to turn your wheel so you got more access to this area here. I hang my caliper from any convenient location. I sort of let it rest. It is hanging, but it's also setting at the same time, so there's not this huge tension thing going down. Okay guys, this is a two-phase process in the sense that after we loosen these bolts on this side, we have to turn the wheel to access that bolt in there. Remember, you can't get a chisel to jam back in here very far at all. It's only up here going in this direction are you going to have any possibility of getting inside that gummed up mess. I highly recommend putting an anti-seize compound in here when you put your replacement in. These things only have a 3-year warranty. Okay, you will have to wire wheel all of the corrosion out of this thing, out of the inside and off the face of it. Here's a unit. We're going to stick it inside there where this little opening receives that Hall effect sensor. I think I should take that out probably. I probably just tore that thing out of the last one, wasn't even thinking about it. Well, no, doesn't seem like you need to take that out. Here are the codes that I found and the footnotes for my car, and I really don't know that I trust some of these. They're fairly similar for all cars, but the important thing to note about torque specs on a bolt is, back in the day I used to think that if it's a bolt on your brakes, man, you better tighten that as tight as you can get it so your brakes don't fall off your car. Basically, when you tighten a bolt, you can put thousands of pounds of tension in that bolt, and if the rating of that bolt is, say, 5,000 pounds, and you torque it to 2,500 pounds of force and of pre-tension, guess what? Now that bolt's only rated at 2,500 pounds and is under tremendous stress. So just something to think about. Over tightening a bolt drastically reduces its rating. And the reason I know this is because in industrial scaffolding, like in power plants and on oil rigs and stuff, there's a certain member of the scaffold component that has a bolt on it. We are only allowed to tighten that bolt 40 foot-pounds or people can die. So just something to think about when it comes to torque specs. That's why some of them are very important. Don't get down here and tighten this thing with the freaking massive wrench, because the forces that you're putting on those bolts are incredible. I'm going to torque this one to 77 pounds. the specs are all over the place. I'm going to see what 77 pounds feels like. If it feels a little too loose, I might tighten her up just a little bit more, but not much. Okay, so from what I gathered in the footnotes, they recommend you tighten it first to 74 foot-pounds. Right here, this one says tighten in 3 steps. First to 74 foot-pounds, and then 20 degrees, and then final 35 degrees. I believe they mean tighten at 20 degrees, then you cross over to the next bolt. Like, you would tighten all the bolts in your sequence. You would start here, go here. I'm not talking about the wheel, of course. I'm talking about the bolts that we can't see on the hub. So you would tighten here, 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 and here at 74 foot-pounds. Then you would go an additional 20 foot-pounds, or 20 degrees, additional 20 degrees, 20 degrees, 20 degrees. And then you do the same pattern again, but this time 35 degrees each time of additional turn. I'm pretty sure that's what they're referring to. Any of you mechanics out there who are catching me on the slip up, man, definitely let us know in the comments, and I will pin your comment setting me straight. I'm going to look up the torque specs and the rest of this stuff and put it in the description. These are the caliper mount bolts. I believe it's 112 foot-pounds, but I'm not sure. All right, guys, we're coming up on a bridge here, and I want you to listen to what we're about to hear. This is kind of what a bad wheel bearing will sound like. Right here. Not quite such a high pitch, but it definitely just sounds like you're driving on a rough patch of road. My wheel bearing has been fixed, and don't hear that sound anymore, thank God. I thought it was my transmission going out on me. This car's definitely giving me a lot of scares. So for any of you Infiniti enthusiasts out there wondering how many miles you get out of one of these things, I'm still hanging in there. I've done a lot of work to it, but if you do the work yourself by investing your money in tools, man, it's definitely the way to fly.